And that is in my early years, probably around 8 years old, I used to sneak across the highway when my mother would shop at Kmart in Muskogee. And I would sneak over to the KBIX studios where Larry Arnell, who I think may still work as a 911 dispatcher or a radio dispatcher for the Muskogee Police Department. Larry was jiving Jack Daniels, I believe, back then, something like that, or maybe it was somebody else, and he was one of the guys that was a radio DJ. He was a disc jockey for KBIX back when they used to spin records and play rock and roll. And I used to go bang on the back door until somebody would let me in. And but I was always interested in radio. I can remember playing around on the CB radio, and then eventually at around age 10 I got my FCC license as an amateur radio operator. And it wasn't until 1994 that I became actively invested into broadcast engineering and started working as a broadcast engineer part-time, while also working as an IT person at Oklahoma Rig and Supply. So I did two things at once. I've always done more than one thing at once. But I started working on both AM and FM stations. I even worked on the FM station that used to be here in Wagoner for a short while, until it got into financial trouble and got bought out by Bill Payne. And it's now 101.7 in Muskogee, KTFX. But in late 2000, early 2001, I put in for a low power FM here in Wagoner. And it's not well known because nothing ever came of it. Under pressure by NPR and the National Association of Broadcasters, Congress reconvened on the matter and squashed my application. And it was under the pressure was they were really concerned about the effect low power FM would have on other established stations. And I could go into the technicalities of it and everything, but I'm not going to. That's neither here nor there. But I will say that the technicalities behind the issues that surrounded LPFM, or low power FM, back in the day, had to do with first and second adjacent channels or frequencies that stations resided on. And so it has been 12 years in the making, in studies and everything else, for it to finally come back around and open up once again the opportunity to file for a low power FM station. And the filing window is to begin October 15th of this year. Now, if you were a family member, you would know why it all of a sudden, like my wife or daughter, they realize why I've all of a sudden came back to this interest. I was at a film festival in January down in Duncan, Oklahoma. Troll Dance Film Festival is one of, a really well nationally recognized film festival. And some people brought a documentary called Corporate FM. As a matter of fact, I think the website for it's fmfilm.com. Well, the documentary brought back a lot of memories about why I wanted to establish a radio station here in the first place. And the reason for Corporate FM is for a local community voice on the airwaves. Now, you have to be a nonprofit organization in order to file for this application. And I could probably tag it along with another organization here in Wagoner, but one of the things I wanted to do was establish an organization just for it. Because one of the problems I had witnessed in my earlier experience of my first filing was the group that I tagged along or tried to incorporate into the effort all of a sudden wanted to start dictating who would be on the air and who wouldn't be on the air. And I don't want that. I want a community radio station. I want to be able to open it up so that even mass media or mass communication students at the high school come in and actually operate the station and have a program on the air. I want different churches in the community to be able to have a program on the air if they so choose. I want the city of Wagoner to be able to have a voice on the air. The station has to be fully EAS or emergency alert system compliant. I would like to take it a step further and make it to where even the police department would have access to be on the air by remote, so that if there was something ever to happen that would be important enough to be communicated to the public, they would be able to do so directly from the police department and go out over the air. The only way, Zane, that this is going to work, because I have other things I could do with my life, but I do have a broadcast background as an engineer and an on-air personality. The only way that I will do this is if it can be a community effort. Other than that, I'm not really that interested in doing it.